Hi, I'm Ida Adamovich and welcome to Freeze Frame, a photography series that will focus on one aspect of photography each episode. Today's show will focus on street and abandoned photography. We will feature Deborah Lillis's photography, go behind the scenes, look at tips and tricks of the industry, take a shopping trip to BizTech, and even involve Mohawk creative photography students. Have you ever wondered where the shooting locations are in Hamilton? Stay tuned, it's all coming up on Freeze Frame.
Freeze frame!
Welcome to Freeze Frame. With street photography, there are many different genres. We met up with abandoned photographer Deborah Lillis in an abandoned POV site to get a behind-the-scenes look into what it takes to get some very epic images. Let's take a look.
As far as abandoned photography is concerned, it's taken me quite a number of places. I think a lot of people would be surprised where you can find abandoned places. And what I find is that they're everywhere, you just gotta look for them. How I differentiate myself from other abandoned photographers is I try and create mood. I like to create an image that's especially creepy. So, yeah, I'll try and make a darker image. Some of my photographs that have had the most impact, it has had myself in it in a creepy way. I'm a big fan of horror movies, so I think that comes out in my photographs. I will find out about abandoned places in a number of ways. Being a person who photographs abandoned places, I actually have quite a network. So I talk to people from all over different cities and we'll share locations. Some of my favorite places that I've been to over the last few years, probably no surprise, would be Detroit.
Now joining me in studio is Deborah Lillis. Welcome, Deborah.
Thank you.
Deborah is an amazing photographer. Let's take a look at some of her shots. Hi, Deborah. So, how did you first hear about abandoned photography?
It was when I joined Instagram and I started following a photographer from Toronto, and he was photographing abandoned places in Detroit.
Awesome. And so what makes a location good?
To me, what makes a location a good place to shoot is architectural interest. I photograph beautiful abandoned churches, and I like places with lots of history. I've been to some abandoned hospitals that date back to the 1800s.
And so what was your favorite location?
That's really hard to say, but if I have to pick one, I would say there's an abandoned church in Buffalo, which is really beautiful. It has great architectural interest, beautiful arches, lots of decay, and there's no graffiti.
Awesome. So how has your photography style developed as you've been doing this?
As I've been doing this, I've started to notice that my interest in horror movies really comes out in my photography. I love darker images. I'll put myself in my images as well and just try and give it a creepier vibe.
I really like the images with you in them.
Thank you.
They're great. And so what advice would you give to somebody who wants to get into this kind of photography?
I think if you want to get into this photography, you got to be really passionate about what you're doing. Be ready to get dirty and be really adventurous. Going to abandoned asylums, dark tunnels. It's not everybody's idea of a fun afternoon, but I love doing that stuff. I go to a lot of dark and creepy places.
Awesome. And tell us how people can find you.
You can find me on Instagram. My handle is _ so live your life _
Awesome. Well, I follow you. Great work.
Thank you very much.
Coming up next, we stopped into VisTech Mississauga to learn about what modern street photographers are using on location. There are so many different lenses and tools that a photographer has for a shoot. We stopped into VisTech Mississauga to learn about what modern street photographers are using on location.
Freeze frame!
Hi, we're here in VisTech in Mississauga with our photo expert, Camilla.
Hi.
Hi. So today we're talking about street photography. Is there like a bag or somewhere to store your camera that you would suggest?
I love using something that it's quite compact and it allows me to carry the gear that I need, but it's not overwhelming, because I found that in the beginning when I was just starting, I used to carry a lot of my camera gear, and if I saw something interesting but I was using the wrong lens, or I had to get something in my backpack, I had to put it down, I had to open the zippers and go through it until find the gear that I wanted. So I love now that there's so much availability on bags. They are quite small, compact. You can still fit most of the gear that you need for that kind of photography, but it also allows you to have a camera bag that doesn't look like a camera bag, to avoid people knowing that you're carrying expensive gear, because that's something, you don't want to become a target. So it's very important for me to be concealed and be stealth, but still carry the stuff that I need. So there's this one bag from Temba, which is a messenger bag, and it's very compact, but it looks very nice, and I love using that when I'm shooting outdoors.
Does it come in different colors? Or?
There's a lot of different options actually. Some of the Temba bags, they have different, you can change the lid. So there is, you buy the bag with the cover, but you can unzip that part and change it in colors, and you can customize and make it your own. So
can you customize which kind of compartments you want in it?
There's a lot of those options as well. So the Velcro like compartments that you can separate and make it fit the equipment that you have, for sure.
That's awesome. So when out traveling and you're looking to get like some long exposures, what would you suggest? Something like light that's
actually, I just recently went on a trip in Iceland, and there's a lot of that. There's a lot of water, a lot of waterfalls, but also a lot of tourists. So it was kind of like street photography, but in the wild kind of thing. And I love the fact that there's so much available in terms of tripods. They're quite small, but they're sturdy. They're strong enough to carry and support the gear that you're using, but they fold quite compact and you can carry them anywhere. I usually tend to carry my own tripod on my carry-on. I don't check it with my luggage, because I find that sometimes I get stuck at an airport and I don't have access to my luggage, so I can still have my tripod with me if I needed to use it. So the Mi Photo line that we carry here, it's something great for that. It has been very popular. We've been selling like hotcakes, and there's a lot of different options available. Carbon fiber as well, which is even lighter than the regular metal tripods.
So even if they're small, you can fit a big camera on them?
Yes, they have different ratings, and there's different options and smaller sizes and bigger sizes for heavier cameras, for sure. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Camilla.
Thank you for having me.
And if you'd like to have more information, you can visit vistech.ca or check us out in the store in VisTech Mississauga. We're going to take a break, and when we return, we'll see some Mohawk College students in action. It's time for a friendly competition. Mohawk College has a creative photography still in motion diploma program. And today we're going to feature two photographers who are pursuing street photography, Robert Lemaines and Blake Camden, who are second-year photography students. Let's learn a little bit more about each of their unique styles.
My name's Blake Camden.
Robert Lemaines. Street photography is literally the most broad thing ever, because you have no idea what you're gonna get. You can go out one day and it could be cloudy and it can be muggy and it can be the worst day ever, or it could be sunny, beautiful, and you can find anything and everything.
You go to a location, somewhere within the city, and basically you just walk around, you look for interesting moments to capture, interesting architecture, landscape, people. It's really anything you just see. There's not a lot of pre-production and setup. You're really just capturing interesting moments that you see in everyday life, usually within the city.
Just the thrill of finding the perfect image is amazing, because you literally have to go and find it. It's not in a studio. You're not setting anything up. You have to use your eyes, and you have to literally scramble to find the right person, to find the right look, to find the right interesting backdrop. You have to actually search for your gold.
So the fact you can just go out with your camera and you're really just documenting and framing life as you see it and what's actually going on. I find that really appealing, opposed to sitting in the studio and setting up for 2 hours, then retaking the same shot 100 times. You go out and you just capture things as you see them and as they happen.
Welcome back. Each photographer was given 30 minutes to shoot on location. They were given the opportunity to stylize the photo and then forwarded us their best image. Let's take a look at the competition. Welcome back and welcome to the studio. So Blake, how did you find the competition?
I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun going out, having a camera crew follow you around when you take photos. Definitely a new experience, and it was great.
What was the biggest challenge of the competition?
For me, the biggest challenge was choosing my final image, which one I actually wanted to use for the competition.
And how did you narrow it down?
So I narrowed it down to my top 3, and then I just went from there.
Awesome. And was there enough time allotted to get the photos done?
Definitely. We had half an hour, and that was more than enough time to get some strong images.
Awesome. Thank you. And Robert, how did you find the competition?
I found it very good, very different, as Blake said, because we're not used to having a film crew follow us. So it was very, very cool experience.
And what was your biggest challenge?
My biggest challenge was just to picture what I wanted in that time frame, because it's not a huge amount of time, but it was good.
And how did you find your model?
I found him waiting to be on the show, and I thought he fit the look that I wanted, and he fits the style that I do. So I thought the picture I took of him was perfect.
So you really lucked out by going first.
Yeah.
And how much post-processing did you do on your photo?
Just a little bit, desaturation, bumped up the contrast, bumped up the clarity on it. It's kind of my style, and it fits the street photography style as well.
Awesome. Well, both your images look great.
Thanks.
And to judge our student photos, let's welcome back Deborah Lillis. Welcome back, Deborah.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks. So let's have a look at the photos. So what'd you think of Robert's photo?
I thought this was a great image. I like the choice of subject. I really like the post-processing as well, the desaturation, the contrast. It just made the image to me look a little bit more raw and thus appealing. The only thing that I would suggest is just simplicity. I find all the spots in the sweater really noisy, and just this spot on top of his head, it looks like he has a bar coming out of his head, so that's the only thing I can suggest. But I think this guy's going in a great direction.
Awesome, and let's check a look at Blake's photo.
Again, a great image. You know, I find the sky, the clouds, the color, everything really appealing and vibrant. I really like the edit. The only thing that I can suggest is I just found I needed more of a story, something to kind of invite me in a little bit more.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for your critique. And we will take a break, and when we return, we will see who the winner of the shoot-off is.
Freeze frame.
Welcome back. Before we announce the winner, we want to tell you a little bit about the prize. Crafted Hamilton is a new cottage business in the area. The business just launched this past year by Mohawk College television grad and part-time professor Alex Coombs. Alex launched the business to promote Hamilton's industrious community through her clothing line. With every item sold, a portion of the proceeds goes to a different foundation in the city of Hamilton. Let's take a look at Crafted Hamilton.
Perfect.
The clothing line has taken off and has been selling out in stores locally, online, and in other cities. Crafted Hamilton has donated the prize package for our winners today. So, Deborah, who is our winner?
The winner of the Student Shoot-Off Photography Challenge is Robert Lemaines.
Congratulations, Robert.
Thank you. What do I
So, would you like to say some few words?
do? Some words? Well, first off, I just want to say thank you to Blake for being such a wonderful model. And just thank you that I got this opportunity to showcase my work and showcase my style of photography. And I couldn't have had a better competition because this guy is an amazing photographer. He's one of the best photographers in our program. So watch out for his stuff, watch out for my stuff, and that's it.
Awesome. Thank you, Robert and Blake. Your work was truly amazing, and your participation was greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for watching. This episode covered a lot of grounds in respect to street photography. Our thanks to Vistech Mississauga, the Mohawk College Creative Photography students Robert and Blake, our judge Deborah Lillis, and we would also like to thank Crafted Hamilton. This show is made possible by first-year television students. I'm Ida Adamovich. Thanks for watching.